Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Destremps, Committee Chair of this distinguished event. On behalf of the Tempe Community Council Board of Directors and staff, I'd like to welcome you to the 38th Annual Don Carlos Humanitarian Awards. Tempe Community Council is a community-based nonprofit with a 49-year history of connecting those in need with those who care. TCC brings together local government, nonprofits, faith groups, and residents to build a lasting foundation for future generations. TCC helps ensure an environment where people excel, an environment where community thrives, an environment where people stay for all the right reasons. Celebrating 38 years, Tempe Community Council has been proud to host the Don Carlos Awards, a long-standing Tempe event that celebrates those who have dedicated their lives to giving back to our community. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my committee for their hard work and perseverance to pull together the event this year, and ensuring this evening is special for all of our honored guests. A big thank you to Julie Armstrong, Jim Hall, Dorothy Rasmussen, Tammy Reed, Krista Zamora, Octavia Harris, and Cindy Kaminska. Before we start this evening's program, I'd like to invite our online viewers to familiarize yourselves with the Q&A chat feature, where you're invited to join other viewers in celebrating our awardees this evening. You also have an opportunity to view our digital program, visit our generous sponsors, and continue your support by donating to TCC. Now at this time, I would like to introduce Brandon Wiley, past board member and past board president for TCC, who will be the MC for our program this evening.
All right, well, thank you, Jacqueline. Gentlemen. Thank you, Jacqueline. Good evening. It's my sincere honor to be the MC for tonight's program. As Jacqueline stated, I am past board president and board member of TCC. I live and work in Tempe, and my company Hound is also headquartered here in South Tempe. This year, we are celebrating 38 years of the Don Carlos Humanitarian Awards, an event that brings together the community to celebrate those who have dedicated their lives to giving back. Tempe Community Council is proud to host this long-standing Tempe tradition. To Tempe Community Council's board chair, Rachel Lambert, and fellow board members, your Tempe community thanks you for setting the example of service to your community. To all TCC board members tuning in this evening, please accept our gratitude. We are privileged to be joined by several elected officials in person or viewing virtually tonight. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Corey Woods, Vice Mayor Randy Keating, and then hold your applause until the end of this list, but council members Jennifer Adams, Robin Arredondo Savage, Doreen Garland, Lauren Kuby, and Joel Navarro. We also have former U.S. State Representative and former Tempe Mayor Harry Mitchell, as well as former State Representative Jenny Norton. And we'd also like to welcome past council members Don Cassano, Pam Garankin, Shanna Ellis, Dick Neuheisel, Linda Spears, and Joe Sprachelli. And we also have Tempe Union High School District Governing Board members Andres Barraza and Bernetta Hodge. All right, and so we also want to thank our sponsors. We have SRP, our title sponsor, Tracy and Tim Essenson, United Phoenix Firefighters Local 493, Lanning's Credit Union, APS, Southwest Prints and Promotions, Gamage and Burnham Law Offices, Tempe Officers Association, Jenny Norton and Bob Ramsey, Mountain Park Health Center, Lauren Kuby, Woody Wilson in memory of Dr. Carol A. Lockhart's Reed's Handyman Service, Empowering Change Counseling Services, Andrea and Brandon Wiley, and all of our in-kind sponsors. Please join me in a round of applause and thank you to our sponsors for their generosity. All right, we're now going to have a video presentation from our title sponsor, SRP. Presenting on behalf of SRP is Ryan Balzer, Senior Safety and Health Specialist.
Good evening. I'm Ryan Balzer with SRP and board member for Tempe Community Council. It's a privilege to be here with you this evening to recognize the recipients of the 2021 Don Carlos Humanitarian Award and honor the legacy of the man who was named after, Charles T. Hayden. The man affectionately known known as Don Carlos, was devoted to this community and truly embodied the spirit of service and giving back. His passion inspired many to join him in working to improve the quality of life for everyone, just as those we celebrate tonight inspire others today. I think Don Carlos would be proud of how the Tempe Community Council and the people of Tempe have embraced his work and carried on his legacy. I believe he would also be amazed at how Tempe and the entire region has grown and thrived. And like us, I suspect he would be mesmerized by the ever-growing city skyline and the view at night along Tempe Town Lake. The pandemic has interrupted virtually every aspect of our lives and created unprecedented challenges for families, businesses, and the entire community. The commitment to giving back and supporting those among us who need a hand has never been more important. SRP has close ties to Tempe. It's the home of SRP, and we share the same community spirit and commitment to giving back. That's why we are so humble and proud to be your partner in this great event and to celebrate the great work being done by the Don Carlos Award recipients. On behalf of the more than 5,000 men and women of SRP, congratulations to all those being honored, and thank you for all you do.
Ryan, thank you for your warm welcome. And again, thank you to SRP for being our title sponsor. So we begin this year's awards by introducing this year's Young Humanitarian. This award symbolizes an individual's community activities, their overall impact, their commitment to meeting a community need, their motivation, their leadership, their plan for future service, and most of all, their passion. Ella Zeiders is all of these things and more. Ella is a collaborative leader who values inclusion in all endeavors and embraces leadership roles with empathy, awareness, kindness, and reliability. Ella is an excellent student who volunteers in the community and in her school. Her volunteer service for the past 10 years includes participating and providing coaching for nonprofit athletic programs that give opportunities to children in foster care and children with disabilities to participate in athletic programs. She was a member and a leader of the National Honor Society and Site-Based Council at McClintock High School and a student athlete. Ella is currently enrolled as a student at the Barrett Honors College at Arizona State University. She defines a leader as a person who seeks to serve others, leads by example, and ensures no one is left behind. Her passion to serve others is easy to see once you meet her. We know your future is bright, Ella, and we're happy to honor you as the 2021 Young Humanitarian of the Year. Ella, please join me on stage to accept this honor. At this time, we'd like to thank Bob Ramsey and Jenny Norton for their continued support and commitment to our youth in Tempe through this distinguished award and the $2,000 scholarship for the Ramsey Social Justice Foundation. Ella, I present to you your check and your award.
Five pairs of young eyes lock onto me, awaiting my direction. This huddle might be the last place my timid younger self would have expected to be. But here I am leading a football team. How did I, a quiet, studious introvert, get here? 15 years ago, my family started a flag football program to connect children in foster care at Sunshine Acres Children's Home with kids from the community. Sunshine Acres is a local organization dedicated to providing a home for children ages 5 to 15 whose parents are no longer in a position to care for them. In this context, kids from all walks of life are able to form meaningful, long-lasting friendships and learn important life lessons such as collaboration, perseverance, and kindness alongside one another. I joined this program as a player when I was 7 and was later asked to become an assistant coach at age 11. While I have played a role in other community service programs as well, including the Tim Barber Walk for Pop with several of my classmates throughout our high school years, my experience with Sunshine Acres has been the most impactful on my own perspective and contributed greatly to my passion for service-based leadership. After having been a part of this program as a player for most of my childhood and witnessing its immense impact on our community firsthand, I became motivated to adopt a greater leadership position and provide younger athletes with the same experience that I was once gifted. Fast forward to my 6 year as coach, my underdog team made up of the same players who years prior would quit at the first sign of difficulty, showed resilience in the face of fierce competition, and came off the field as league champions. It's fun to win, but what made this team truly victorious was their growth in perseverance, teamwork, and friendship. I soon learned that service-based leadership has an impact that lasts far beyond the final whistle. Watching these young athletes grow and learn together in a fun, albeit competitive context, is a gift I would be unable to replicate anywhere else, and continues to fuel my passion for serving this community. This experience has had an extraordinary impact on my own development as well. Being a part of such a unique program has opened my eyes to the importance of leadership, collaboration, and service within a community. It has also shown me the value of perseverance and determination, qualities that can be applied beyond a competitive or athletic context. The truth I have come to know through active participation in community service is that a leader is not the loudest person in the room. They are not the person in the front of the line captivating the attention of those they lead. Rather, it is the person who seeks to serve others, who leads by example, and who sometimes stays back to ensure that no one is left behind. They focus on using their voice to build others up rather than to amplify themselves. These are the principles that continue to guide my daily life in the way that I treat others and view myself. I am incredibly eager to continue my service to the community in a new project with Duo Football Club. I am looking forward to working with women in our Duo community to begin an all-girls flag football division as an extension of our current Duo divisions. Our goal is to provide our female players with an opportunity to play in an environment where they can elevate their skills together. This division would be an extension of our current club, so the female athletes would be encouraged to participate in both the mixed divisions as well as one of their own, a division for women, led by women. I'm very excited to take on this project and develop this program in these coming years, as it will continue growing our service and increase our impact on a larger and more inclusive audience. I want to thank Tempe Community Council for this incredible honor and for their support of my community service. I would also like to thank everyone who has continued to fuel my passion for service and help me grow along the way, including my teachers Miss Street and Mrs. Kahn, Daryl Ridgely, the young athletes at Duo Football Club, Joe Patrielli from Sunshine Acres, and my incredible family. Finally, I would like to thank both my mom and my dad for teaching me the value of service-based leadership from a very young age, for always encouraging me to put the focus on how we can help others, and for setting such a good example of what it means to be truly selfless. With the undying support of these influential mentors and Tempe Community Council, I remain determined to live up to TCC's mission, connecting those in need with those who care. Thank you.
So we now move on to the Volunteer of the Year. This award is given to an individual or organization that embraces volunteerism through their activities, their impact, fulfilling a community need, their ability to face challenges, and their overall commitment to Tempe. This year's recipient embodies and embraces volunteering from all directions and multiple channels. It's easy to understand how Marnie Anbar is this year's Volunteer of the Year. As an Air Force veteran and prior Air National Guard member, with a master's degree in mathematics and founder of Discoverosity Zone, which encourages STEM learning in children, Marnie can easily be considered a professional volunteer. Marnie is a member of the Kiwanis Club of Tempe, South Tempe Rotary Club, philanthropic educational organization, Chapter DK, based in Tempe, which provides educational scholarships to women seeking a college degree, and volunteers for Tempe YMCA, iHelp, TCC Agency Review, Kyrene Schools, Fig Community Garden, and previously volunteered as a former Boy Scout troop leader. Not only does Marnie consistently participate in and lead service efforts, but she also recruits and encourages others to volunteer too. Marnie's volunteerism with a variety of service organizations also allows her to share potential ways the organizations can partner together to effectively serve more of the Tempe community. She consistently serves others selflessly with a warm smile and sunny disposition. Marnie takes every volunteer opportunity as a chance to get others involved in volunteering. It is my pleasure to introduce our 2021 Volunteer of the Year recipient, Marnie Anbar.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm old school, so I'm going to use paper, not the teleprompter. Good evening, everyone. What a privilege it is to be here and to be with all of you. Whether you are taking part in person or virtually, I am grateful for your presence here tonight. And I cannot adequately express how truly special it is to be recognized as Tempe's Volunteer of the Year. Of course, I wish to thank my nominators and the Tempe Community Council for the honor of being included in the wonderful company of my fellow awardees, those who came in the past and those who will come after us. I am humbled. I also want to thank my family, especially my husband Ariel, my friends, and everyone with whom I serve. You all inspire me. I was told that I'm supposed to tell you a bit about my volunteer work and why I do it, its challenges, and its impact. Talking about why I do what I do is often challenging for me, as I tend to operate more on intuition rather than keenly defined logic. The opportunity to reflect on my motives has been fun and a bit enlightening. Here's what I think. When I was 14 years old, much to my great surprise, the faculty at my junior high school gave me an award for humanitarianism. I had no idea the award even existed, let alone that I was being considered for it, and I really didn't even quite know what a humanitarian was. But receiving the recognition made an impact on me. I was given a new lens with which to view myself, and it was a lens that I liked and a title that I wanted to live up to. I think I'm still trying to live up to the faith that my teachers put in me. I think one way I found to manifest this vision of myself as a humanitarian was to volunteer. It helps that I'm a joiner. It's just part of my personality. It also explains why I volunteer with so many wonderful organizations. There's so much good work going on so many fronts. I get enthused by both the work and the people doing it. Volunteering with the Kiwanis Club of Tempe affords me many opportunities to tap into my personal passion of serving children, as does my service with the Tempe YMCA Advisory Board. Serving with the Rotary Club of Tempe Downtown allows me to be a local and international peace builder by aiding in the eradication of disease, increasing access to education, and fostering economic independence. Working with my PEO sisters from Chapter DK, I get to champion both local and international women in their quest for higher education. I am lucky to be affiliated with more organizations than what I've listed here, but I mention these in particular because it is through them that I get to connect with the innumerable others in our community doing great work. How can anyone not be excited by the myriad of opportunities to serve? Related to my joiner tendency is my desire to feel like I'm part of a community. When my family moved to Tempe from Rochester, New York, nearly 2 decades ago, I literally knew no one here. Volunteering was my way of getting to know the community and of making Tempe feel like home. 17 years later, Tempe is my home, and I very much want to take care of it. Volunteering has also been a creative outlet for me by allowing me to manifest my inner educator. Many of you know that I am a recovering middle school math teacher, and I am married to an ASU scientist. Find me after this event, I'll buy you a drink and regale you from my soapbox on the need for more math and science learning opportunities for K-12 students. My biggest volunteer activity, and the one of which I'm most proud since I helped to create it, is Discoverosity Zone, an elementary school kid space that addresses the need for more authentic and informal STEM experiences in grades K-5. Extensive volunteer dabbling in the Kyrene School District in everything from PTO to the Kyrene Foundation put me in a position of being able to create this unique place where kids lead their own learning. Before I created Discoverosity Zone, my volunteering felt overextended and rambling. Afterwards, I realized that every volunteer effort I had been involved with up to that point had unknowingly been in service of creating this unique program. How very gratifying that realization was. It led me to pursue volunteering in the community on a bigger scale. Who knows what creative possibilities might be realized when you just put yourself out there. This experience of being selected as Tempe's Volunteer of the Year echoes that school experience I had nearly 40 years ago. Thanks everyone for your camaraderie and your faith in me. You've inspired me yet again to live up to the title.
This year, we are honored to recognize an organization with Tempe Community Council's Impact Award. ICNA Relief provides caring and compassionate service to survivors of adversities and disasters. Established in Tempe in 2019, ICNA Relief offers assistance to the community at large. Drawing on the tenets of Muslim faith to serve, ICNA Relief supports anyone in need despite their race, religion, ethnicity, gender identity, or citizenship status. The nonprofit organization operates a food distribution warehouse, a medical clinic for the uninsured, a shelter for women who are experiencing hopelessness or are survivors of domestic violence, and aids refugees, including helping to locate jobs. Since being established, the organization has distributed 580 backpacks with school supplies to children in Tempe in economically impoverished neighborhoods. ICNA Relief engaged 1,264 volunteers who spent 4,700 hours preparing and distributing culturally appropriate food boxes to seniors, households impacted by COVID-19, and any households in need. This resulted in over 5,000 families, or 25,000 individuals, receiving over 250,000 pounds of food, worth $688,000. ICNA Relief also engages doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals as volunteers for their free medical clinic. ICNA Relief persistently serves the most vulnerable in Tempe, and it's easy to see that they live their values of sincerity, sacrifice, and service each and every day. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage an individual who is instrumental in bringing ICNA Relief to Tempe, Selena Imam, Area Manager for ICNA Relief Arizona, accepting the TCC Impact Award on behalf of her organization.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Sorry. I'm really honored and humbled, and I think this award came too soon to me. Sorry, I don't want to be emotional. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I born and raised in Bangladesh, and I came here when I was like age of 20, and I was the oldest daughter in my family, and my father, he kind of spoiled me. He gave me everything I could ever ask. So when I came here, I came here to go to school, and for several reasons it didn't happen. And I was able to work, make money, and pretty soon I found out, I was like really good at working and making money, getting the dream home, dream car, and I started living my dream life here. And coming from Bangladesh, we see a lot of poverty there. We see the people, we see the hunger, we see all the crisis there. But in the TV or movie and being here, I thought America, these things doesn't exist here. But pretty soon I found out all this exists here. And I started feeling really guilty living in a big home and a nicer car and spending money on myself. When I spent $10 for food, I felt like, I don't know how people spend $5 for Starbucks. I felt like with that $5, somebody actually can buy the food for their lunch or dinner. Anyway, I started volunteering with American Muslim Women Association. And pretty soon I found out they don't have everything we need to help someone. We kind of just giving the patch to the people, just helping them with the temporary stuff. So I was looking for a platform who has everything, and I can help someone with everything. So my goal is not helping them once and then just let them go and come. They can keep coming back to us. So I always try to help people with everything so they become independent. They don't have to come to us. So I started looking for some organization, and I tried to get a job somewhere, and I could not get it. Nobody was hiring me. And luckily one day, like in 2016 at the end, I got a call from ICNO Relief, ICNA Relief. And they asked me, their chapter is suffering. They started in 2014, and they are looking for someone who can run the chapter for them. And they asked me if I can do that for them. I'm like, yes, I've been waiting for it. And they said, I'm sorry, we can't pay you much. I'm like, I don't care. I'll volunteer. Just give me the platform. So I started in 2016, and I already knew what the needs are because I was volunteering with the refugee, immigrant, migrants, and I'd seen the poverty here. So I jumped in work, and I physically I started in 2017, and by now we have like our food pantry, we have our clinic, we have our women transitional home, we have all the programs established. So I felt like last 4 years, I work actually for 10 years. I work day and night, and my team work day and night to make this happen. And I'm really honored you gave me this award, but I don't think I quite deserve this yet. I felt like I still have a long way to go. There's still need out there. There's a client who is suffering for housing. I cannot find anything for them. They got the job, they are established, but they just don't have a place to go. They're still like facing the homelessness. Right now we are working with the Afghan refugee who are in the town, and they have no place to go. They are staying in the hotel. There's 40 kids and 140 people in the hotel. They have no food. They have no place to go. These kids not going to the school. They're just locked in the hotel. And organization like us, IRC, and other Muslim organization and the non-Muslim organization, we are trying to make sure they've been fed. They got their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we need help. We need resources. And I'm so glad and I'm honored Tempe, TCC, they trusted us. They gave us their fund. And we worked. They made a huge change. They actually give us the opportunity to work. And since last year when COVID hit, everybody locked in the house, we are out there, we are working. We are traveling all over the state. We went to the tribe. We tried to go to the Navajo Nation where it was like a red zone. It's like high-risk place. But none of our volunteers scared. You had 1,264 volunteers came. They gave us 4,700 hours to do all this work. And all this happened because we got some money from the Tempe. We got some money from the other funder. And our community, they're very humble, they're very generous. So our organization, it was community-based organization. We just work with their money. But last year, the first time for me, I started getting some funds from Tempe, from City of Phoenix. That made huge changes. And I really, really wanted to thank all of you from bottom of my heart to give us the opportunity, give us the resources. And I'll ask the same thing, especially Cody is here, and he's a great supporter for us, and Lauren Kubi and all the council member. And I'm really blessed. ICNA really opened one door for me, they opened 5 doors for me. And I felt like I can work, like my sky is my limit. I can go as much as I want. I know I have a big support in my back now. I know they're here for me. I can call, they're just one phone call away. And I never seen any official, they actually answer your phone. There's people, they answer my phone, they answer back my text. So I'm really honored, and thank you so much for this. I'll take it behalf of my organization, my donors, my volunteers. And mine is due. I'm not taking behalf of mine right now. I still have a long way to go. And thank you so much. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it.
All right, and now for the final award of the evening. As many of you know, the Don Carlos Awards is named for Tempe's pioneer founder, Charles Trumbull Hayden. He's recognized as an originator of human services in Tempe, and caring for others was his main priority. Hayden, nicknamed Don Carlos, was known across the Arizona territory for the assistance he provided to people in need. He was a visionary and advocate. He brought commerce and food sources to people in the area and developed Tempe's iconic Hayden Flour Mill. He advocated for education and was influential in encouraging the territorial normal school to be housed in Tempe. And he later helped to raise funds to acquire and donate property for what we know and love today as Arizona State University. The Don Carlos Humanitarian Award is unique because it embodies Hayden's legacy and spirit. And tonight's honoree, Margaret Honeycutt, personifies Hayden's vision and joins an illustrious list of previous Don Carlos Humanitarian recipients. Our past humanitarian recipients who are joining us include Lon Griffiths, Zita Johnson, Bobby and Don Cassano, Joe Sprichelli, Jane and Dick Neuheisel, Gail Fisher and Mel Kessler, Linda Spears, Penn Johnson, Catherine May and Dan Abbott, Alice and Ralph Goitia, Harry Mitchell, Neil Giuliano, Ravine Aurora, Shanna Ellis, Kathy Stevens, Christine Wilkinson, Christine Bush, and Woody Wilson. Our Don Carlos past humanitarians were delivered floral arrangements designed by Bobby's Flowers, and to each one of you, we are honored by your presence and appreciate your continued support. We captured a snapshot of this year's Don Carlos Humanitarian recipient with a video produced by Mirage Productions.
I believe Margaret's made a huge impact on Tempe. She's given so much time to the community and frankly helped out so many people who are truly in need.
She connects with people in a way that is very unique and special.
She really tries to get to the root of how she can help.
So I can't think of a person who's more deserving of this Don Carlos Humanitarian Award than Margaret Honeycutt.
So being a humanitarian means that you are a person that wants to look out for community and do the best for the community that you live and work in.
Margaret came to Landings in 2001 as our Chief Financial Officer. And in about 2008, she was promoted to our CEO. It was during the most difficult time. Margaret's leadership became apparent very quickly. One of the things I was most impressed by was her ability to communicate the challenges to our staff.
One of the attributes that makes Margaret a tremendous leader is preparation. Sometimes you'll see people who don't always read the financials, read the minutes, or read kind of corresponding information for an agenda item, but Margaret reads all of it and digests everything, analyzes everything, and so I think that kind of leadership, it's really practicing what you preach.
Her innate ability to see the good in people and guide that and use that to help them become leaders. And so when she does get involved with something, she's both a contributor and a leader.
She really tries to understand people's situations, and there's a lot that she picks up on, both as employees here, as I've seen in the community, others that she's involved with. She really tries to understand their situations and how she can help. Then I'd say she's also just very, very considerate and wants to be of assistance. Wants to be there, and if she's going to be involved, that it's going to mean something. That she's going to devote her time, and she's going to be considerate of those people that she's serving.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, so I want to start back at the beginning. But Diane Bennett and Kate Hanley showed up in my office one October afternoon with ice cream. And that was kind of my first impression of getting involved in Tempe. And then they talked me into doing the tax program. So I started with them in January of 2003, working with the VITA program and getting that solidified. We had a lot of bumps in the road those first years. But then we started developing plans and making it more reliable for all of the clients to come through. But that was kind of one of the first things that happened that integrated me into Tempe. I then joined the TCC board and became integrated that way. And then what a lot of people don't know is Harvey Gibson shows up at the credit union, and everybody knows Harvey. And he pushed me, I wouldn't say pushed me, he encouraged me to sign up for Tempe Leadership. And I think that integrating into that community of all of the different kinds of leaders in the community, seeing what it's like, getting involved, helping others, serving others, I think that was probably what made the difference for me here in Tempe, was getting to know all of those people and what it meant to be in a real community.
The Don Carlos Humanitarian Award is truly about a lifelong commitment to public service in our community. And she has demonstrated that every step of the way.
I believe that you would be hard-pressed to find somebody else that has made as much of an impact on a variety of programs, a variety of citizens in Tempe.
Someone in her role as the CEO at Landings Credit Union could have easily cited having to run a financial institution during some very challenging times, and she could have easily said, this is all I can do right now. This is all I can frankly give is to this financial institution in the community. But the reality is she did so much more during that time. She continued to be involved in various nonprofits and other community efforts. And so quite honestly, she has just over time continued to step up over and over again on behalf of Tempe and on behalf of people who need her the most.
If you look at the volunteer efforts of our credit union, each year under Margaret's leadership as CEO, our volunteer hours from our staff increased each year. And so that's evidence of the role model and the leadership she provided to make an impact into those organizations.
She didn't really just pick one thing that she was involved with. She wanted to make Tempe a better place, and all the work that she did has really grown and allowed others to then kind of step in where she left off.
I still serve on the Tempe Diablos Charities Board. That was a new board that I accepted at the end of 2019. I'm one of the first 3 women that they've invited in to serve with them, and so that's been fun. And I decided to stay on that one because they do a lot of good work in our community, and I really enjoy watching what they do. Service is a big deal. Caring for one another, being kind to one another, praying for one another, and serving, and making sure that the community and everybody is at its best.
She is fierce and determined. She works incredibly hard. She gives back. She's caring. She's a mentor to myself and to so many people in our community.
We're grateful for the legacy that she's left for us to follow in her footsteps.
And so quite honestly, she's exceptionally well deserving of this honor, and she embodies everything you would want in someone who wins this award.
I don't do the work that I do for awards. I do it because I am here to work to better our community that we live in.
And I am so happy that she is finally going to receive some of the public recognition that she deserves.
Chief Administrative Officer for Landings Credit Union, to share her insight about our 2021 Don Carlos Humanitarian Award recipient, Margaret Honeycutt.
It is my great privilege this evening to introduce our guest of honor and recipient of this year's Don Carlos Humanitarian Award, Margaret Honeycutt. Best-selling author Robin Sharma said that leadership is not about a title or a designation. It's about impact, influence, and inspiration. Through her leadership and volunteer service in Tempe, spanning more than 20 years, Margaret has embodied these attributes with her tireless efforts to help build a stronger community. Reviewing all of Margaret's community involvement, achievements, awards, boards, and committees is incredibly impressive, and it illustrates the wide reach and deep impact she's had. But her resume only tells part of the story. What elevates Margaret is how she connects with and cares for people, especially those who need support or assistance. I imagine that every person watching this evening who knows Margaret has a personal story, a memory, or an interaction where you recognized her unique ability to connect with and impact others in a meaningful way. When our older credit union members needed assistance with finances, whether it was the simplest or most complex situation, Margaret was always there. As CEO, she easily could have passed these requests on to one of our team members, but that's not her style. Margaret had a short list of members that she checked in on from time to time to make sure that they were on the right path and had all that they needed. Margaret is open to sharing her own life story, filled with both struggles and successes. Her authenticity and perseverance fosters trust, and at the credit union, our employees look to her for advice and guidance in all areas of their lives. She provided financial counseling and tax assistance for someone going through a divorce. She encouraged further education for those who wanted a different future, and offered the gentlest compassion when someone experienced a loss in their family. Her leadership inspires those around her to get involved in several civic organizations that she champions, working toward financial stability for individuals and families, creating opportunities for students, providing social services and basic needs such as food, water, clothing, and access to health care and medical supplies. Margaret has a warm spirit, endless energy, and rarely says no to an opportunity to impact the lives of others through service. She shows up early, doesn't seek attention, works hard, and stays until the job is done. Margaret's integrity and values guide her decision-making and actions, regardless of the stakes, who she is surrounded by, or who is watching. And this is what makes her a great leader and so special to so many. I am grateful to call this year's Don Carlos Humanitarian recipient my former colleague, boss, and my dear friend. She is a true inspiration to those who have the privilege of knowing her. Tonight, she steps into the elite company with those who have received this prestigious honor before her as a leader and change maker within the city of Tempe. Please help me welcome to the podium, Margaret Honeycutt.
Put him down so I don't drop him. Good evening, everyone. When I received the phone call that I was the recipient of the Don Carlos Humanitarian Award, my husband Bob and I were driving home from our vacation in Colorado. I sat in shock that I was even being included in such an incredible group of individuals. I was surprised, humbled, and very honored to be the recipient. Thank you to the selection committee for honoring me with this award. I am truly grateful. I'd also like to congratulate the other honorees tonight for their amazing work in our community. Marnie, Selena, Ella, congratulations on each of your accomplishments. I celebrate this award with you tonight. After the call and a short scream, I started to have some flashbacks. I immediately remembered back to the time in 2008 when I was the Tempe Community Council Board Chair, and I called Penn Johnson to give him the news that he had won the Don Carlos Award. And I'd wondered what went through his head after we hung up from that call. My mind was filled with thoughts of, how am I going to do this? And I tried to remember what other people had said in their acceptance speeches. And I thought, this is such a big deal. I am not good talking about myself at all. So I decided that it would be best to talk about all of the people who have inspired, encouraged, or motivated me or led me into this world of service. There are a few people that I also need to thank. Sharon Doyle and Karen Barton, thank you for writing the nomination. I appreciate all your kind words. I have served on several boards with Sharon through the years. She is the most hardworking and dedicated board member you could ask for. And if you need anything like money, gift basket items, to sell tickets, she knows how to go after and get it. She is an ideal board member and a wonderful friend. Thank you, Sharon. Karen, thank you for the introduction and your loyal support at the credit union. Many of you don't know this, but Karen really runs the organization from behind the scenes. She is the longest tenured person at the credit union. She carries the majority of the credit union's history, and she was my work spouse for many years. She provides the most honest and direct advice any CEO could ever ask for. When you need something, she is there, and she will tell it to you straight, whether it's good or bad. Mayor Corey, thank you for your kind words. It was a fun ride when you came onto the board with Landing's Credit Union, and now it is fun watching you make great strides running for the city of Tempe. You are doing a great job, and we all appreciate it as citizens, and I'm delighted to call you my friend. Lon Griffiths, Christine Bush, Dr. Kevin Mendeville, Janet Segrin, Deborah Arteaga, Jennifer Underwood, Diane Watkins, and Shanna Ellis, thank you all for the letters of support you wrote on behalf of my nomination. All of you are amazing individuals, and I have enjoyed serving with you. But as the video said, my Tempe journey started the day in 2003 when Kate Hanley, the former director, and Diane Bennett showed up in my office with ice cream in hand. They came to explain what they were doing with the volunteer income tax program. They had tried to operate the tax site for the 2002 season, but as you can guess, neither of them knew anything about how to prepare a tax return or anything about tax law. As a tax geek, of course I was on board right away. In fact, before Bob and I were married, I was easily one of the tax clients that we were serving. It took us several years building the process. We had a few difficulties to overcome with space and crowds, but we eventually turned it into a world-class, nationally recognized program. Diane Watkins and Karen Maish are now at the forefront running this program. I just completed my 18th tax season with them. Kate also brought me onto the Tempe Community Council Board and introduced me into the folds of Tempe. Serving on the TCC board led me to the introductions of several well-known, caring Tempeans who were looking for ways to improve the lives of those in our community who were in need. Kate and Diane, thank you for taking me under your wings. It was a pleasure serving with you both. As the video said again, another person I need to recognize and thank is Harvey Gibson from the credit union. When he started at the credit union, I wasn't living in Tempe yet, but he always talked about how great it was. He was a huge supporter of the Tempe Chamber of Commerce and of the Tempe Leadership Program. In fact, he really wanted to be a part of that program. So he was the person responsible for encouraging me to apply to the leadership program when I did. And in fact, every year since then, someone from the credit union was encouraged to apply. And the credit union now has several graduates from the Tempe Leadership Program, and yes, Harvey was one of them. Harvey, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Tempe leadership was a catalyst in my journey into the nonprofit sectors in Tempe. I also had thought back to many of the previous Don Carlos events that I'd attended over the years. The first one was in 2003 when Dave Cuddy won the award, and I recall how exciting the vibe of the event was. And with each successive year, watched how this event has become the premier event in Tempe. I remember Kate worrying each year if the event would be successful, and I'm sure Octavia does the same thing. The last one I attended in 2019, there had to have been more than 500 people in attendance. And I also remembered back to last year when our most recent winner, Woody Wilson, one of my Tempe Leadership Class 21 cohorts, was selected, and I was thrilled for him. We did have the best class ever. Woody has done so much for our community in a variety of ways, especially the arts, and I'm proud to have served with him on a couple of boards. Woody, congratulations on your win last year. I didn't get to see you in person last year, nor this year, but hopefully we'll be able to meet up in the near future to celebrate. I feel blessed because I hold such a high regard for and friendships with some other recent winners from our Bunko group who are proud Tempe Tarts. Kathy Stevens, Shanna Ellis, Carrie Featherston, and Linda Spears. These strong, caring individuals, whom I've known for years, are yet another inspiration. They just keep on giving back. Ladies, thank you for your friendship and guidance throughout these past years. And thank you for all the kind words and support the other night when we found out that we didn't get to have an in-person event tonight and celebrate like we were hoping for. Some other previous recipients who have motivated me over the years are people like Bobby Cassano. I met Bobby many years ago when serving on the TCC board. She was completing her term on the board the year I started and then worked at TCC for a short while thereafter. She was constantly looking for ways to connect the less fortunate with services. Her husband, Don Cassano, former Tempe City Council member, was a staple at USAG for many years, and I had frequent conversations with him there. And I guess that means I probably was a staple there too. But these two can always be seen at our Tempe events, supporting our community causes. They are kind, thoughtful, and generous Tempeans who have inspired me. I met Joe Sperkelly through the credit union because the Thai Foundation used the credit union's boardroom for their meetings. At the time, Jim Simpson, the former CEO, was the treasurer of the Thai Foundation board, and he put me in charge of helping the foundation with their tax returns. When Jim left the credit union, he encouraged me to continue to participate in the fundraising efforts of Thai. I have participated in many of Joe's golf tournaments, fortunate to have one team win. But Joe raises a lot of money, and his nonstop commitment to the students in Tempe is impressive. He always has sage advice to give, and if you ever need a Tempe history lesson, go see Joe. Joe, thank you for all you've done for our children in Tempe. I also met the Honorable Harry Mitchell through the credit union. When I won the Tempe Chamber Businesswoman of the Year Award in 2012, Harry read my name into the 111th Congress. That was a surprise, an honor, and truly one of the highlights in my career. Thank you, Harry, because you will never know how much it means to have my name documented into our great country's history records. And everyone knows how much Harry has given back to our community. I met Zita Johnson when she was serving on the Tempe Union High School Governing Board, and I was on the High School Education Foundation. Zita, another long-standing community servant, quietly supporting whenever called upon. Before COVID happened, I would run into Zita at the quarterly 100+ Women Who Care events, and we'd have a chance to chat and catch up. She is one of the kindest women I know and always has a smile on her face. Shortly after I gave Penn the good news about his winning the Don Carlos, Penn and Zita opened up their home to a Tempe Community Council event that was called the Guiding Lights Campaign. Penn and Zita represent everything that it meant to be a true guiding light in our community. I currently serve on the Tempe Diablos Charity Board with Penn, and at our last meeting, Penn joyfully nominated to be treasurer of that board. I'm sure he knew that I wouldn't say no. When I hear Ravine Aurora's name mentioned, all I can think of is that I am nowhere near the caliber of a humanitarian as he, but he is someone to aspire to be. Ravine and I most recently served on the TCAA board together. Like many of those who have shaped my life and career that I've already mentioned, Ravine's life is one of a true servant leader, and it shows when you're with him. I'm always amazed at how he has provided guiding and giving hands wherever and whenever it is needed. His stories are endless. I believe he is currently serving on more than 20 boards. But his caring and kind attitude radiates through him. And I was really honored when his wife Clara and I appeared at a function dressed in the same attire. Women, you know how that feels, but that night I felt pretty special. Ravine is also a current Nobel Peace Prize nominee, for those that don't know. Ravine, prayers to you and to the Nobel Selection Committee that they make the correct choice. You are so deserving to win this award, and I am honored to have been able to serve with you. Christine Bush became the superintendent of Tempe Elementary shortly after I became CEO at Landings. At that time, which feels like a lifetime ago, there were very few women who held top positions in their respective fields, and it was sometimes difficult to find other female mentors. Christine, thank you for being there when I needed that ear to bend. You are forever caring and understanding and provided great advice. I appreciate your letter of support and our friendship. Chris recently retired, and I hope she is having a great time learning how to relax. Most recently, I introduced Shanna Ellis to her husband, Todd. Thankfully, they were a perfect match, or I would have felt horrible. I was honored to officiate their wedding last year. Todd and Shanna are a mighty team, as both are community-minded citizens and serve on various boards. Shanna, thank you for your letter of support, your encouragement, and friendship. I wish you and Todd an early happy first anniversary and many, many years of happiness together. There are so many previous recipients that I do not have time to talk about, but I'm very honored and blessed to be included among such an elite group of individuals. Servant leadership is one of the most important principles of the Christian faith, as we give with a joyful spirit. We love and we care for one another. We pray for and encourage each other. We help, counsel, and support everyone. It is human kindness. It is God's will, and I am happy to serve where I can. Living in Tempe is one of the best decisions Bob and I made, and we are happy to call home. It is my goal to remain in the Tempe community and continue to support humanitarian efforts through my work on the current boards that I'm serving. Bob knows how much living in Tempe means to me. I love you. And thank you, and I thank God every day that we are walking this life together. Thank you to our beautiful, growing family for your support. I love you all. Again, I appreciate receiving the Don Carlos Award tonight. My wish for everyone is a fulfilled life of peace and happiness. Stay healthy, God bless you, and let's pray for the return of this premier event next year.
Congratulations, Margaret.
Thank you.
You are obviously an inspiration to this community. So it's my pleasure now to introduce the mayor of this great city, Corey Woods, to read a proclamation.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. And I just wanted to say, Margaret talked about, when we first really got to know each other was back at the old Riazzi's restaurant. And she called me one day and said, hey, would you have an opportunity to go out and have a conversation? And at that point, she was inviting me to come join the Tempe Schools Credit Union Board at the time. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't really know if I know much about finance, and are you sure you really want me to do this? And she said, Corey, first of all, it's a very useful skill to learn. Obviously, I was a very new council member at the time. But quite honestly, I learned so much about finance and so much about the community from Margaret. And from that one meeting came a lifelong friendship for someone who's been both a personal and professional mentor to me. So I was super excited about this all week. And so with no further ado, I will go ahead and read the proclamation to my good friend Margaret. Whereas Margaret Honeycutt has worked tirelessly to make the community of Tempe a better place through all her contributions to help youth, local schools, individuals experiencing homelessness, low-income families, individuals with disabilities, and seniors. And whereas Margaret has been a crusader for Tempe's youth and education, serving as a board member of the Tempe Union High School's Education Foundation, a volunteer for Yes Tempe Kids, and serving on the President's Advisory Council of Chandler Gilbert Community College. Whereas Margaret's community involvement has also included serving Tempe's most vulnerable populations, leading water donation drives for those individuals experiencing homelessness, serving dinner at the iHelp shelter, and encouraging multiple community members to volunteer their time and join nonprofit boards that benefit these humanitarian efforts. And whereas having compassion for low-income working families and individuals who face financial struggles, Margaret was central in forming the Tempe Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, which is nationally recognized as a model for best practices, providing free tax preparation, and served as the volunteer site coordinator, which entailed training volunteers. And in her capacity as CEO of Landing's Credit Union, provided a home for the operations of the tax site during tax season. And whereas Margaret generously gave her time as a Meals on Wheels volunteer, ensuring that seniors and individuals with disabilities have nutritious meals delivered directly to their door, along with the opportunity to see a friendly face, organized an annual holiday event, and annually sponsored holiday gifts for 2 group homes for residents of the Centers for Rehabilitation. And whereas as a former advisory board member of Tempe Community Foundation and former president of Tempe Community Council, Margaret has improved and helped ensure the delivery of social services to those most in need and collaborated to establish a permanent endowment to perpetually fund and enhance Tempe human service needs currently and in the future. And whereas it is Margaret's authentic embrace and practice of people helping people that stands out, her persistent, long-term commitment to various Tempe organizations and projects, diligence as a leader, advocate, mentor, innovator, and philanthropist embodies the best of Tempe. Now, therefore, I, Corey D. Woods, Mayor of the City of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare the 2021 Don Carlos Humanitarian as Margaret Honeycutt.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. As many of you know, each year the Humanitarian selects a local nonprofit, their choice for attendees to support with their donations. So in addition, TCC makes a monetary donation to the organization on behalf of the Humanitarian. And this year, TCC will donate $2,500 to the Humanitarian's charity of choice. For her organization, Margaret has selected Tempe Community Action Agency, also known as TCAA. TCAA improves the quality of life for the people they serve by helping them alleviate a crisis and transition to greater economic independence. Their mission is to foster dignity and self-reliance for the economically vulnerable in the communities they serve. They help seniors, adults, and families struggling to provide for their most basic needs and working to attain their highest level of independence. They operate Tempe's largest food pantry, 3 senior centers, aging programs, a home-delivered meal program, emergency rent and utility assistance, Tempe's Sole Emergency Shelter, the Tempe Interfaith Homeless Emergency Lodging Program, also known as iHelp, it's a lot easier to say, pre- and postnatal services, 2 community gardens, an economic advancement program, and other projects and programs that serve our most vulnerable residents. To donate or find out about volunteer opportunities, please visit tempeaction.org. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce TCC board member and current board chair, Rachel Lambert.
Good evening. As Brandon said, my name is Rachel Lambert. I have the honor of being the board chair for Tempe Community Council, and wanted to talk a little bit about this great celebration tonight. So as we've heard from these 4 fantastic human beings about their contribution to our community, and they're surrounded by people here in the room with us, right, that obviously respect, love, and support them, and many, many more in the virtual world with us. And as Margaret said, we're very hopeful next year we can all be together, rounding about maybe 500 or 600 people, correct? Yeah. So I wanted to take a little bit of the opportunity to talk about Tempe Community Council and the great things that we do. As some of you may know, we are in our 49th year as an organization, so hard to believe, right, that we've been around so long. We wanted to talk a little bit about the main mission of the organization, right? It started in a place of connecting people to places and community services that care. We will continue to do that as the journey happens way beyond our service with this organization. One of our main charters is to bring the community together and to ensure that not only the financial resources, but the time is aligned with what our neighbors need. And again, we come from a place of caring and compassion. Our success over the years is not something that we can do alone, right, as board members, right? We need to make places and opportunities for people like you to join the cause. And we're very, very grateful that many, many members have helped us in creating some additional opportunities and bridging the gaps of what the community needs from us. As we all know, there's vast opportunity in the community to help our neighbors. So as we've heard, places from homelessness to people who are struggling for medical insurance, people that are just struggling to have food on the table for their families. So we want to make sure that as we partner with the City of Tempe, thank you, Mayor Woods, that we continue with one of our great honors, which is called agency review. So many of you have probably volunteered in this process. We invite many more to come join in this great work. What we do through this process is, again, to make sure that there's a fair application, that we have a sustainable way to measure the outcomes of all this nonprofit work. And again, that we make sure that all of the resources are given to the places that are honoring our community, and again, that are coming from a place of the nonprofit compassionate work. We also want to make sure that we honor and celebrate throughout the year, right? As this is our kickoff event, we also have events throughout the next year. In the late fall, we'll host the annual Champions for the Youth event. This year, it's November 17th. We hope to see everybody there. We also are remaining hopeful that that event will be in person. The celebration continues into the springtime. We have our Care Fair event that is on the Human Services Day. Again, we want to make sure that this unique day allows every member of the community to come visit us from the community council perspective, visit all of the partners that are in the nonprofit sector of Tempe, and more importantly, making sure that each individual at the Care Fair connects with the human services that they need. As we talk a little bit more about the agency review work, we want to make sure that we're continue to challenge ourselves. That in, again, this nonprofit sector, that the money is properly allocated to the communities from a place of needs assessment. We launched our needs assessment officially about a month ago. Hopefully all of you have participated and helped give us input about where our community really needs our services. If you haven't had the opportunity, please take a couple minutes. You can find the survey on the Tempe Human Services, you can find it on the Tempe Community Council website and click the Tempe Human Services Needs Assessment. Lastly, we wanted to talk again from a board perspective about our commitment to create a community that treats everyone in a fair and equitable way. Our commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion started by examining our own processes to determine if we had any organizational gaps or identify opportunities for improvement in serving our community. We hope that as we do this, that we also will influence our partners to do the same. Lastly, we look forward to keeping you updated, right, as we start thinking about some strategic initiatives that we will be bringing us into our 50th year of 50th anniversary. So again, thank you for joining us in the evening to honor these the Tempe finest. We absolutely cannot do all this without you, and we really appreciate your time and effort. And again, many congratulations to these 4 fantastic people here with us, and we look forward to seeing what you'll do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for your commitment and dedication to TCC Board. Tempe is fortunate to have someone like you on its side. To the entire Don Carlos Humanitarian Awards Committee and TCC staff, we thank you for your hard work for making this event possible. The board and committee would like to especially thank this year's Don Carlos Humanitarian Awards Chair, Jacqueline Destremps, who we ask to please come on up. It's a big vase of flowers. That's awesome. All right.
Don't worry, I'll hold you up.
Thank you.
So to all of our guests who joined us virtually, we appreciate your dedication and partnership. And congratulations once again to Margaret, Ella, Marnie, and ICNA Relief. 2021 has been a year of continuing change, and it's my hope that what we have taken away from tonight's inspiring award recipients is that we're always surrounded by great opportunities for positive impact, as well as community support. And perhaps next year we'll be reading out your name at the 2022 Don Carlos Awards. Thanks again, and we'll see you next year.